There are few things more exciting than the rush you get when you and 20 of your closest friends get together to defeat the final raid boss in your favorite MMORPG. But if you're like me, you love MMORPGs, you just don't have as much time to spend playing them as you used to.
I played about 16 hours a day for about 10 months straight.
Well, luckily there are a number of options available for people like us, who want to experience everything they love about the genre, just without the massive time commitment. The games on this list are all really easy to jump into and start having fun right away. They don't require hundreds of hours of gameplay before getting to the good part. They're fun from the start, and they could provide a lot of entertainment, even if you're just playing for an hour or two a day. So with that, let's get into the list, the top MMORPGs for casuals in 2023. City of Heroes is a superhero-focused MMORPG, which allows you to create your own hero or villain to either save or bring havoc to Paragon City. The game was originally cancelled in November of 2012, but has been up and running through private servers for the past few years, and the team behind the private servers continues to add new content to the game. Whether or not you played it when it was officially out, City of Heroes is the perfect game for casual MMORPG players, and my top recommendation on this list. The fun quite literally starts at creating your character. City of Heroes has, without doubt, the best character creation I've ever seen in an MMO, and that's including current gen titles. You can make any sort of character you'd like. The possibilities are limitless. A cat, a robot, a wolf, an alien, a human. Seriously, whatever you want to make, you can do it. You can even change how each of your abilities look and the weapons that you use. The character creation in this game is ridiculous. You can literally spend an hour or two just on that. From there, you choose the background for how you became what you are. Are you a science experiment, a spawn of a ritual, or just some guy that trained really hard? Then move on to choosing your archetype, City of Heroes' version of classes. This is something that COH breaks down very nicely for casuals. You first choose what playstyle you'd like before getting into specifics. So you have tank, ranged or melee DPS, crowd control, and support. And then these archetypes are broken down nicely to show what they do best. So right away, you get an idea of what your archetype and others do. In total, there are 14 of these unique classes, each with their own playstyle and scaling, and within each, you choose your own primary and secondary power set. The customization here is really robust as well, offering you the ability to control mines, summon pets, wield a katana, have dual-wield pistols, shoot beams out of your eyes, control radiation, have super strength. You get the idea. There's so many possibilities, and this is where a lot of the magic is for City of Heroes. Making a new character is an entirely different experience each time, because there are so many different ways to customize them, and not just physically, but also through different power sets, that you actually want to make alts. You're excited to try a new power set because the gameplay is different each time, and even within the same archetype. The character creation is one of the main reasons why so many people are playing this game even 19 years after launch. And all this before jumping into the game, which in itself is a very enjoyable experience. Let's start with the combat. For me, City of Heroes offers some of the most engaging tab targeting that I've experienced. Your abilities all have their own cooldown, and there is a huge variety of different powers. The game does a great job at making you actually feel like a superhero. You aren't going to be killed by a single mob at your level. You immediately start taking on large groups and infiltrating enemy compounds. And where the game truly shines is when you team up with other players. Whether for patrolling the streets, a task force, or a raid, there is no game that has matched the excitement of having 8 superheroes obliterate their way through an evil lair to disable a bomb just before blowing up the city. And grouping makes you even more powerful, as this game is all about stacking buffs. It looks crazy, but you can often have 10 or 20 buffs on your character, which just build off of each other, making you and your team ridiculously powerful. And that's not to say there isn't any difficulty in this game. Instead, it allows you to scale missions to the difficulty that you prefer. If you'd like to charge your way through each mission on the standard difficulty and not think too much, perfect, you can do that. But if you do want a challenge, you can multiply the difficulty to whatever you'd like. This is an amazing feature for casual players. Playing with friends is easy as well thanks to the game's sidekick and exemplar systems, which automatically adjust your level to the party leaders. So you can group up and play together without sacrificing rewards and without being vastly over or underpowered. Drops in this game are a bit different than your traditional MMORPGs. Instead of gear, you get enhancements, which can be added to your abilities to make them even stronger through reducing their cooldown, increasing their damage, improving their accuracy, or more. City of Heroes does a great job at bringing you the fun right away. From the moment you start creating your character all the way to endgame, if you enjoy being a superhero, you'll likely be having fun. The game also has no way to pay for it. Everything that was in the game's cash shop is available for free, and the development team have even added a number of things, such as double XP, which are available for free as well. City of Heroes is so easy to jump into. The replayability with creating different characters is so high, and during peak times, some of the servers will reach high capacity, even more than 4 years after these private servers have been made public. So if you're looking for an MMORPG where you can just have a flat out good time, City of Heroes is for you. Star Wars: The Old Republic was released in 2011, and since then it has received a lot of updates and now has 8 expansion packs. A game with a lot of traditional MMORPG elements such as gear, dungeons, and raids. There's one thing that sets it apart from the rest for casuals: the story.
This is only the beginning.
This should probably be expected in a Star Wars game, but story is front and center in the Old Republic, and each of its expansion packs add even more storylines to play. While it is an MMO, the Old Republic can easily resemble a much smaller game as you play through the story, which honestly is where this game shines. With full voice acting, well thought out stories and characters, and decisions for you to make which impact the world around you.
If our relationship means anything to you, please, pardon my crimes.
I could never lock you away in prison, my love.
That's wonderful.
If you like games such as Mass Effect or Dragon Age, then this game's for you. And since it is an MMO, it's really easy to play with friends. Each of the different classes have their own unique storylines to start the game. Multiply this with the possibility for different outcomes depending on how good or evil you want to play. There's a ton of content right off the bat for you to experience. And as you play through the story, there really is no hurry to reach endgame. You can play for an hour, make some progress, log off, and pick right back up where you were. The combat is entertaining enough, there's an interesting crafting system, and the game has a transmog system, which, while I haven't explored myself, seems to be one of the biggest things players do later in the game. So if you like story-driven games where you can still feel like you're part of a living world, then the Old Republic is for you. Amazon's New World was released in 2021 following numerous delays, and while the launch was extremely successful from a numbers perspective, players quickly started dropping the game. And that was for a number of reasons, but one of the biggest was that the gameplay at level 1 was pretty much the same all the way through to max level. Since then, the team has made a number of improvements to the game, including adding new dungeons and maps, new weapons and armor. And even recently they launched its first season, with the second one being just announced as well. Now, New World is a great game for casuals for 3 main reasons: its gameplay, its visuals, and its crafting system. For gameplay, the combat in New World is very fun, offering quite possibly the best action combat in the genre outside of maybe BDO. New World doesn't offer a class system. Instead, it allows players to equip and level up different weapons whenever they'd like. This versatility allows you to play the game however you want, without the need to respec talent or roll a new character. Any progress you make while playing with any of the weapons will also count towards the overall progression of your character as well. New World has an extremely satisfying crafting and gathering system, which is without a doubt the best system not only in MMOs, but quite possibly any video game. And just like with weapons, leveling up gathering and crafting also gives you experience and progresses your character. All these different ways to progress really gives you so much freedom and liberty to play how you'd like, that for the most part, leveling doesn't seem like so much of a grind. You can log in and play an entirely different way than you had been the day before just by swapping weapons or focusing on a different part of the game. Now, the content, while improved, does still mostly involve doing a lot of the same thing for about 60 levels, but by focusing on all of these different parts of your character, it really makes the grind a little bit easier. Stepping away from gameplay, New World is one of the most visually impressive MMOs there is. The art is truly something to appreciate. There were countless times when I played that I literally stopped, looked around, and just appreciated how amazing the area looked. I still have memories of my first time exploring different areas, and it's experiences like these that truly elevate the game. And you don't even need to wait until endgame to see some of the coolest areas, because as you level up, you'll naturally experience them. The combat, gathering, and visuals in this game are so good that they make playing New World casually a truly enjoyable experience. Add in that nearly everything you do progresses your character in some way, casuals will have a lot of fun playing New World. And as a nice touch, it doesn't require a monthly subscription, so there's literally no pressure to play. So there you have it, 3 great MMO options for casuals to enjoy in 2023. Let me know what you think of this list. Was there a game that I missed? If so, let me know in the comments. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. Until the next one.